Hello and welcome. I am Karjan, and this is Let's Art Operation Blinking Mirror Edition. This should be a relatively short episode because all I really want to do in this one is make the line art black and make the line art black and erase lines that are overlapping in places. So we're just gonna the first thing we're going to do is make a new folder. Put it up here. Whoops. Not inside Nina. Not inside Nina's folder. Did it again. Can be a little bit finicky sometimes, I can't always tell. And this will be finished lines back up. Highlight all of that, duplicate layers, hit OK. It all goes in here, and then it turns off. Okay. Now then. See, that's because I'm going to delete these layers that I'm no longer using. Hue set. Like that. And just move up the delete all these varying layers. Because if they're not on, I clearly don't need them. Delete, delete, delete. And at this point, merge these. I didn't merge these because I want them separate. And it's really just habit for me to go into the control menu, the image adjustment layers, or whatever it is. Delete, delete. Merge. And adjustment hue set. Just Control U. And Miku. merge, control U. I don't really need to reduce the saturation the way I've been doing, but it's another piece of habit that I have. Really all you need to do is just push the lightness over. Merge layers. And then Nina, whoops. Whoops. I hit a bad button. Okay, so Nina. Alright. Well, all of this needs to be merged. Okay. I guess her legs are sort of fine where they are. Okay. So everything is now black and white. So most of what's going to be erased is going to be down here in the background layers. So I need to make this large enough that I can just erase it without too much effort. And just start erasing things. Let's see. It's the way of the hand. It's the way of the hand. That's the way of a boot. That's the way of leg. And there is a lot of effort that does get just erased. And it is somewhat disappointing sometimes, especially if you're pleased with something that's now hidden. But that's the price you pay. Oops. Need to erase this as well. Okay. Now up here, there's not quite as much. But there is some that gets hidden. I'm just gonna trim this down a little bit. I'm not gonna fully erase the lines, but I am going to trim it down in some places. well, mostly through the whole thing. Although this is now not sitting properly. So, need to fix that and then erase this so that it's a little more appropriate. That's his shoe. That's his boot, so I'll actually allow that forward. Okay. Things are starting to get cleaner and clearer. So now then, we're here. Raise this up again. This needs to be, well, undo. Reduce the opacity so I can see exactly where it's overlapping inappropriately. There we go. Oh, Lord. Alright, I apologize for that. My computer apparently decided that it did not want to deal with... It did not want, by any means, to deal with, dealing with, well, Photoshop and recording, and not entirely sure why that happens. I've managed to somehow avoid it for the most part, but it still comes back on occasion. Okay. I think that deals with most of the background. Let's bring those back to full. It doesn't like dealing with the opacity. How interesting. Alright. So apparently, at the very least, opacity modulation is not my friend while recording. So that's an interesting case that I did not expect to occur. So I think most of the rest of the problem... Oh! I did forget one piece down here. Need to erase this. Need to clean up here. There we go. Now I think I've got all the backgrounds in place. So... Oops. There's nothing for that squirrel. Miku, however, there are parts of her that need to be erased. So... This needs to be erased. This needs to be erased. that needs to be erased. A little bit of Nina's hand needs to be thinned out. There we go. Alright. Back down to Miku. Honestly, I could probably leave a lot of the lines in place and just... Oh wow. Okay, and it's done it yet again. It really doesn't want to record tonight. Alright, as I was saying before it decided to cut out on me yet again, I could probably get away with leaving all of these lines in place. And instead of erasing the lines, just make sure that I keep the different color layers in such a fashion that keep the color layers such that nothing really, like, make sure Nina's color layers are on top of Miku's, and therefore when I'm coloring this in, it'll hide the lines from below. That's one way of doing it. It's not the way I've chosen to do it, mostly because I'm accustomed more to I don't like her face now that I'm looking at it, but I'm not gonna change it. So at this point, I really don't have the time or the energy to change it. Because normally I would be putting all of these layers together instead of leaving them off the way they are. But I'm going to leave them as separate things, but I'm still going to have erased it because it leaves a cleaner look in my mind. And mostly just in my mind, but okay. And with that, I do believe I have a finished piece of line art to work with. Yeah, I don't really like Nina. Flik actually turned out okay. And the squirrels turned out pretty good. I'm not too proud of Nina, but I'm not gonna go back through the effort of trying to fix that, so I'm going to call this line art complete, and I'm now going to cut this off, and I will start work on the coloring tomorrow, seeing as it's 5:30 a.m. So therefore by tomorrow I actually mean by the time next time I wake up. See you next time.